Hello, our listeners out there. We love you so much. We are Tribal Studio with me, Simon, the coordinator of Geo Politics. Everyone outside there in America, in Canada, in South Africa, in Egypt, all the parts of the world, Uganda, East Africa, Africa as a whole, China, India, you're so welcome to Tribal Roots Studio. With me, I have a guest, and I'll be introducing to him later. But I really wish to extend these greetings to you in the name of Jesus. First of all, I thank everyone and every support we've been having from in and out of the country. Tribal Roots, we are so delighted. We are fixing Africa, and it's not us alone. It's me, it's you, it's your father, it's your mother, it's your spouse, it's your generation. We are all fixing Africa. So back in the studio, I have my brother, Brother Derek.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome in Tribal Roots.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much.
You can introduce yourself to our viewers outside there.
Well, my name is Derek Barasa, and I'm really glad to be on the show today. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, our viewers outside there, we said we are going to talk about geopolitics and the expectations I am very sure you have about geopolitics. Your questions, just like we've been saying, your questions, your comments, your concerns, as you're watching this video, please don't hesitate to put your comments down there. We shall be answering what's necessary. And above all, please be sure to subscribe, follow, and click the subscription button with us. So back to the point. Mr. Derek, what do you really understand by the word geopolitics, and what has been the confusion between geopolitics, and why is it geopolitics? Why is it not any other politics?
Well, I think in contemporary time we have had a misdirection caused by mainstream media that is not really fully enlightened with the use of certain words, English in particular, or something. Growing up, I think my late English teacher actually told me that geopolitics would mean something like politics, but based on geographical, edaphic, that is based on soil, or societal interests that aligned as per continents, districts, location, situation, something like situational factors in that case. But in contemporary time, what we have is, I think the mainstream has conscripted it, has put it out as geopolitics being politics in general. I think that we need to demarcate that clear. We have totally lost on that. It's being used. It's now a misnomer, and we have to change that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I wanted to ask: why is geopolitics, in its original context, why has it deviated? Why is it not of too much concern? Just like you have been saying, that it has been changed by the mainstream media. Why is it that they have not been concerned about the main geopolitics, and they have, I can say, politicized it, or they have deviated from the normal geopolitics to the normal politics? Does it mean geopolitics doesn't put food on someone's plate? Why is it that there has been a shift from the normal geopolitics to the politics that everyone understands that everything should be politicized?
Well, the whole thing is laughable, actually. I would brand it pretentious elitism, pretentious intelligence. We have thought that anybody assuming the political space and sounding as a pseudo expert or analyst is really a good thing. And I think in our society, particularly here, we're having a band of journalists, like I said, mainstream media, people that may not really be key with the facts as little as definition of words. So we have people talking about Museveni this, Museveni that, Kenyatta this, Kenyatta that, Thabo Mbeki, Cyril Ramaphosa, and calling that geopolitics. In the actual sense, I actually thought I don't know, and I beg to be corrected,
Yeah, sure.
Simon. I thought geopolitics would be Russia, US, Ukraine, what? And I thought that is it. Why? Because there's a geographical factor to it. It's not really just special interest, lobbyist kind of thinking that maybe one political party against the other. And just the other day, I was watching TV and this gentleman, and that's why I actually prompted this conversation. I told you, please put me on your show. That man, we need to get these things out clear. As little men as we might be, people need to listen to us. That we need to bring the basics of journalism back, the basics of research, the basics of logic, the basics of...
Talking about research, before you continue, are we doing enough on research? Is research deviating geopolitics? Are we more researching on the normal politics and we are calling it geopolitics? Should we blame researchers? Where should our tears roll to?
Well, half empty, half full. It depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
If in the research space, you'd actually feel like the researchers are doing enough. I have a lot of colleagues, branded researchers, qualified. Others, it's part of their job to do research.
Okay.
And really see they go through a lot to do it. Particularly journalists. I have journalist friends here, there, and you really see they put in a lot of work. But we have to start looking at work of research as just a public service that is for free. We have to look at it as something that we're selling.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, research facts actually sold. But what we have here right now is that the mainstream is publishing research. I mean, not really. Sorry, let me come back on that. They are saying things that are retrievable, things that don't really hold water, communicating words in their actual sense, teaching a certain kind of mushroomy English that I feel I'm not really an expert of the Queen's language or what, but I feel like we have to stop this whole bastardization of certain words. We have to return them to their normal state. So at the end of this, I want us to believe that geopolitics would mean what is in Sudan, or what is in Congo, or what is maybe in the Ethiopians.
Should we say it's an African problem? Should we say it's the general world's problem? Should we localize it, or it's a general problem at large?
Well, me, I don't want to point fingers at anyone.
All right.
I actually feel this is a problem. It's a loss for education, not for any country. Because this all stems back to education or whatever. But I feel, I mean, we are not getting, I mean, when you sit down and talk to your colleagues who are 60 years, 70 years old, the ones that were able to study in the old Makerere, the Ivory Tower Makerere, or the old University of Pretoria, and what they will tell you, they will make you understand that there is a certain drift, a paradigm shift in the way that we understand certain basics of and command of the language.
Mr. Derek, I read your tweet of recent, and I want to enter there so much because we are talking about the mainstream media diverting us. It was talking about how fuel was so increasing in the country, and it was an economic concern countrywide. Specifically, I'm talking about Uganda. And your point of emphasis, I saw you quoting and bringing out two different. I'm really sure they are the biggest newspaper media houses, and on the front page, they were more focusing on petty, if I can call, or normal laughable things. And your concern was, we have an economic crisis, and that's fuel prices are being heightened, and all we can see on the front pages of the newspapers is something laughable. You get? Should we say we are not doing enough, or should we say the media is concerned only about things that the people want to see, not the major things, the major health or economic concerns? Because when we talk about the media, remember also these media companies need a following. These media companies need to sell their what? Their news. And to sell, they must also capture a certain population or a certain kind of environment. So if we're talking about that also, can we consider that also?
Well, I think what you're actually alluding to is a preposterous, absurd effect of capitalism and, in general, privatization of the media space. We have a totally mutually exclusive set of individuals or citizens that don't feel the pain of the rest of the country on the other side.
Yes.
While everyone is lamenting the effect of the longest lockdown in the whole world.
Yeah.
The longest educational lockdown, the longest back closure in the whole world, the longest, all these very ludicrous issues. We have a media that is so keen to analyze MPs, I don't know what on the front page of the magazine, instead of talking about the skyrocketing prices of fuel in the country. Having to sell fuel at about $3, an estimate that is very, very tautologically out of tandem and sync with the rest of the countries around the region, is very, very disturbing. I feel, and my biggest concern would be that the same people that actually were part of privatizing or setting the standards for capitalism, for the mass media, for journalism, should come back and create a checks and balance and create a little bit of emotion. That it is very, very bad for people that are having to buy bread at increased prices just because trucks carrying fuel are stuck at Malaba and Busia, are having to use their same hard-earned money to buy newspapers that are totally out of sync or tandem with their emotions. It is very, very bad. It is what I would call mythological disturbance.
All right.
Our society is actually very, very lost out on emotions. Seriously, if the spirits of Tom Mboya, Kwame Nkrumah, and all those people came back, they would actually be so disturbed.
Yeah.
So I actually feel it has come of time that we should have a real general overhaul. And like I told you, from the simple basics of the misnomers in terms of language practice.
True.
And a lack of professional ethical standards and all these other issues, now to this lack of sentient emotions. I feel that we can do better, and rather the media space can actually evolve to a much, much better paradigm.
So one of the biggest questions we are asking now is, where did the professionalism go? This question is both mine and yours. Where did the professionalism in media go? Because if I can take you back, I remember I heard it from someone that, like, these media companies, the reporters, the anchors, and what have you, they have numbers or they're friends with people that are influential, or that people that may be the people that are ever on mainstream media. So sometimes before they put out certain things, they receive calls on what to put and what not to put. I'm not really media specific. This is not just, it's across. Where did the media go?
Stop saving yourself.
Yes, sir. You know geopolitics, Geopolitics, just like we said, if we should not politicize it, so we should put disclaimers. You get?
It's okay.
When you don't put a disclaimer, I don't want my, when I'm going out of this gate,
you'll be carried by SFC.
I'll be carried by whatever. You get?
I get you.
Yeah. So the other thing is, so the media has people like, let me say, that determine what you put, even if it's necessary for the country, for the continent, or for the world. But they are always, let me say, they're always controlled. You should, like, before you put about who, they should be aware, and what they should put also, they should be aware of what is, where even if you have the you have the ability to put something, but you have a phone call, or maybe you are having a friend who exactly is in the situation, you get. So you ought not to put, because of maybe you may sabotage your friendship, or even your safety is not assured, you get. So now the question that is going to come, that led to the starting of geopolitics, is where did the media go, and how can we retrieve the media? Professionalism.
Do you want me to answer that?
Well, you can answer.
Now, since you've called the proverbial Iroko lizard off the tall tree, I'll come down off the Iroko tree.
Yeah.
I'll come and descend on this issue. Now, what we have is a long-term effect. Long-term, short-term, according to how you think about it.
Yeah.
But I think a long-term effect of capitalism in its own sense. I would say that having to buy brands, for example, for a media house, or associating personal branding and media house branding, is one of the biggest defects in the current system in the mainstream media, particularly in this country.
All right.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a crew of journalists that actually can take a beer or wine with with man X at place Y, time T. Then after, are interested in publishing a story against maybe that person. What should you expect? I mean, the newsroom is actually a very situational process of checks, rechecking, and double checking.
Sure.
In the case that you
checks, rechecks, and double checking.
In the case that you're actually having a bias, a presumptuous bias about a certain individual circumstance, you lose your objectivity, you lose your investigative acumen, you lose your agile mental creativity as a journalist. So I actually feel that the whole situation of having to associate brands over experience and academic qualifications is going to kill the media space in Uganda.
All right.
We can't keep having celebrity journalists over well-built, perfect journalists.
Is this only in Uganda in particular?
Well, I don't know, but at my age, I'm here to travel the whole world. But I'll tell you that, I think it is an issue of human existence.
Okay.
And intertwined with capitalism. I would think it might be the same thing in Myanmar, it might be the same thing in Brazil or something like that. I mean, the people who are connected more will get the journalism jobs and maybe score better points in the interviews to get these jobs.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Derek. For all the viewers that are watching us, we were on introduction, knowing, putting our depth, and knowing why we came in geopolitics. Because there is a loophole, there is a gap that needs to be filled. So, just like I told you, this was an introduction. Put your comments down, and we shall be seeing you next week. We have interesting topics that will be coming. We talk about, if you have an issue that you feel like is maybe a world of a world concern, Africa, any continent, or East Africa, we can talk about it.
I feel the next time you call me here,
we
should be talking about Christmas in Uganda versus Christmas in, I don't know, why we are celebrating desert Christmases and other people are celebrating winter Christmases. Is that geopolitics?
Okay, geopolitics, about the geography of the Christmas.
Whatever, I think.
We shall see what to do about
just
it.
Excuse me on that.
Okay, it's fine. So catch you next week, same time, same place. This is Tribal Roots. We love you so much. We are fixing Africa. Thank you so much.